Today I'm going to be taking a look at welding rods. These are both by Forney, and they're both 3/32 inch width. This is a 1 pound, this is a 5 pound, but the big difference between these is that this is an E6013 and this is an E7018. So those numbers do mean something. In case you don't know, the 60 on here is 60,000 psi, so this is 70,000 psi. They both have a 1, so they're both good for all directions. That means up and down, side to side, or above. And then the 3 and the 8 are the coatings. Now the biggest thing you need to know about that is that this one is low hydrogen, which means that it's going to be better for cold environments. You're not going to be having that cracking that can occur with something like this. So if you're going to be making something that you really care about, you want to use something like this. However, if you're going to be just starting out welding, then you want to use something like this because this is a lot easier to start. And what I mean by that is if you weld with this, you also need to have a file on hand because it's going to develop that flux on the outside of the rod. So the flux on here requires that you be a little bit more patient, and now you have to do a little bit extra work. So that's why this one is usually best for beginners. Because when you're starting out, you really just want to get a hang of like the way that you move and the way that everything kind of puddles out. You don't want to have to get distracted with having to clean off the rod every time while you're doing that. So this, I mean, it can still make great welds. You can still put stuff together that'll last a long time. But once you get comfortable with this and you feel like it's time to graduate to something better, then you want to go with the 7018. So you can see that they are both labeled on every single rod, so you know exactly what you're picking up. And you can also notice, if you look closely, that the 7018 is a little bit thicker. So it's got a little bit more flux. It's going to help to protect it, but it's also going to bubble out on the end of the rod as you get welding. Now, I personally still like the 6013 just because it's easy to work with. I don't have to really have to do much with it. It just works. So either of these rods are going to be perfectly fine. You can see that they are both 3/32, which is just under 1/8. So this is going to be thick enough that you're going to be able to put some metal down, but not so thin that you're going to be burning up rods real quick. So really what you're determining here is, do you want the absolute best quality weld that you can get, or do you want ease of use? And either way is fine. It's really personal preference.